be celebrating. I hope so. I really do.
It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks.
Hello, everybody. Oh, getting back in. There we go.
Go on.
Clicked himself in. There we go. And welcome to TOFFEE Bluecast. We are here. Match reaction. Adding Paul in now. Here we go. Everton 3. Bournemouth 0. There he is. It was going in and out, in and out, in and out. Here we are. Everton 3. Well, we didn't turn up straight away, but Everton did. Match reaction. Everton 3. Bournemouth 0. Massive game. Nice score. Here he is. Paul, how are we doing, Paul? You all right?
I think we're all very happy, including anyone who guessed the score correctly.
I think it was you, wasn't it?
I think it was me.
And I think you reminded me. When you said, to be fair, though, I always say the big scores. I always say Everton to win 3, 4, 5, 7. Watford Luton. Sorry. I say the big scores. I'm always Mr. Positive. I've got Everton to win by a big score. I said 1-0. You said 3, and you're normally a draw or a 1-0. You're not a big scorer, so you was confident this game, and you said you was, and you was right. And I wish I'd listened to you and put 5 on it because you was bang on.
Well, I know
3-0.
that's the thing. You know, I could just see it coming. I just thought we had more about us, despite the Luton game and here, there, and everywhere. So, you know, XG comes through in the end.
Yeah, all about the XG.
All about the XG.
You know what I mean? XG pulling through, doing it for the Toffees. Exactly. But I'm just really happy because, you know, for a fact, like you've said, if we turn up, we're perfectly capable of beating Bournemouth. You know that. But
yeah,
the big thing was with the pressure piling on, with the fans getting a bit like we're playing well but not winning, and stressed. It's just whether this game would go our way because we were starting to feel that nothing goes our way being an Everton fan. And then you get this game and it's so nice that it wasn't that tense and that we generally come out the blocks looking like we was going to win the game, went on to score and look comfortable, which we'll talk about now. And you've got some stuff to chuck on the screen and we'll go through the game, break it down as we do. Yeah. Let's do this. Shout out to the people on. Just give them a quick shout out. James is in the building. James is here. The Blues is here. Love it. Emma Davis is here. Get involved in the comments. We do like you to tell us how you feel, what you think after this amazing result.
Yeah.
Go for it, Paul.
And I'm just finishing off that banner as we go. And
yeah, well, while you finish the banner, I'm just going to say,
pass on your little story.
I am going to announce a little story, right?
This is good. This is good.
Yeah, this is a good story. So yesterday, I did a quick instant match reaction because I just thought we'll start doing it on the Bluecast. We'll do an instant and then we'll do a breakdown the next day. And I asked Jamie if he could come on and Rob, and they was both busy. So Eliana come on with me, and she decided to share the story that Decore is her favourite player on the channel. I didn't choose Decore. She just chose it herself, which makes it more meaningful. And I love that she loves Decore. I really do. And when me and you went to the Bournemouth game, Paul, we was both sitting there and Decore 55 minutes scored and we're all shouting Decore, loving Decore, that Bournemouth game in the relegation battle. And that was Eliana's first game. So it's quite a fairy tale story, actually. Eliana's first game was to Everton staying up. It was Decore scoring to keep us up. And since then, she's always said, Decore, if I say to Eliana, who do you think's going to score? She says Decore to me all the time. I say, what do you think about Calvert-Lewin? She goes, no, Decore. She's adamant on Decore. She loves him. And she come on the channel yesterday. I just randomly had her on. It wasn't planned. She was just hanging around. She come on. She told everyone she loves Decore. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to put that on my Twitter that she loves him. And I did. And tagged Decore in it. And Decore goes and replies. And Decore, I said, Decore, will you meet Eliana? And Decore says, yes, he wants to meet Eliana. And Eliana said on the channel she'll give him a big hug. And now we'll find out, hopefully. I'm just waiting to see if Everton get in touch with him maybe through Twitter and say they want to make it happen. I'd love to think, Paul, that she could walk out with Doucouré during a game, like walk out with him as a mascot, like with the kids, walk out with him. That would be a dream come true. But that's the top end of what I'd love to happen. That's fairy tale. But if she could just go and meet him at Finch Farm or meet him anywhere, Doucouré, and I could just get a video on it and put it on the channel, a reaction and stuff like that, I would love it. But yeah, Eliana, Doucouré's agreed to meet her. So if he's a man of his word, which I presume he is because he's amazing, she's going to get to meet her favourite player just through natural causes. Love it.
It's class, that, isn't it? That's so
the top
good.
is. And that, do you know what? Big respect to him because he didn't need to reply, did he, Paul? He didn't need to reply. No. Like a lot of players don't reply. I didn't put it on for reply. I just put it on to show how much he loves Doucouré. And he replied, and fair play to him. And he seems like an incredible. And everyone said to him, he's got like 400 likes on his reply. 400 people have liked it. Loads of people have said fair play to Doucouré. So fingers crossed, Eliana does get to meet her favourite player. So that's the story on that. And I'm really, really excited. My heart was racing when I seen Doucouré reply.
Good weekend.
Yeah, wicked.
Very good weekend.
Eliana's got Doucouré lined up to meet him. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Should we go through this majestic event?
Yeah,
and have a little look at our first half.
Let's do this.
So first half, I mean, this is 8 minutes in, and you know what? There was so many things that I could have put on. We would have been here all day with prints of all the chances that we had and the shots that we had and the everything that we did well. We could have been here all day. So I've picked out a few and picked out some which just really show what we have been doing in some games. But obviously yesterday was different because we were more clinical. We seemed more confident off the kickoff, and Bournemouth were bloody awful as well, which helps. So I mean, this is going off James Garner after 8 minutes, wins the ball, the guy slips. But the main thing for me is how high we are up the pitch, and you've got Doucouré, James Garner, and DCL there as well. And so when we're winning the ball, straight away, the three of them racing forward. And James Garner's got two options. He can go left, he can go right. And in fact, he ignores the pair of them. Goes straight for the goal. But what I thought was good is that position that they're in there, they're in exactly that same position when actually the ball flies in the net. So it wasn't like, oh, you go away and you go and have a go at this. Everyone wanted to be involved, and Bournemouth just had no answer for it. So the high press early doors was massive, and we did that all afternoon. Actually, did a great job. James Garner had a great game. Great game.
When you put those two pictures up there, if you put the first picture up that you've got there, the first picture there, it's normally our players wouldn't know what direction to run. We wouldn't be in sync. And I think if you go from that first picture to the second picture, like you say, they're in sync. One player stays left to give Garner an option left. One player goes right there to give Garner an option right. So the Bournemouth defenders there don't know what to do because they've got to pick up those two players that have made good runs, or do they go to Garner? So it's the perfect goal, really, isn't it? And
yeah,
the goal is fantastic by Garner. The composure is amazing on Garner. But also, it's massive that those players make those runs to open up the space for Garner to not get closed down and get the shot in. So it's a perfect goal from that trio of players for me. And
yeah,
like you say, the way we started it, you could see it coming. I think that when I watched this game, I think it was an Onana sit in the six by yourself in front of the defence. And I think it was Garner play high up with Doucouré. Normally, it'd be just Doucouré behind the striker. But I think when you do watch most of this game, you see that Garner is really high as well. I mean, in the scoring position shows that he's high, but he's high a lot of the game. And that shows that Dyche has gone out with the intent to attack for me, which has made me happy.
And you'll see across the you saw across the game, if you're watching yesterday, that there were lots of momentum change in tackles, if you like, where James Garner won possession in the middle of the pitch, And like this one as well, one possession higher up. There's one or two later on where Onana wins possession back on the ball, and we ended up creating chances or even scoring from those. So, you know, originally in our pre-match, I think both of us had sort of said Onana and James Garner in the middle. Now, naughty Onana apparently was late. Was he late for the game or late for training or something or other? So he was actually benched, and Garner Gay was going to be starting, but was injured in the warm-up. So it was almost like it was fate that we were actually going to win yesterday.
I did. I listened to the Dyche press conference after, and he said he had something wrong with his heel, and it flared up just before the game, and he's going to check on it and see whether it's a longer issue. But obviously, we've got the international break. But I did. It was a lot of anger for Onana before the game because all Everton fans are saying these players. Because Everton fans are angry because the results ain't going our way. So if a player's not showing discipline, he's going to get an eruption on him. And then someone come out and said that Onana was late for training and he's not starting because he's late for training. I went on to say that it's cutting your nose off to spite your face because I feel Onana's better on the ball than Garner Gay for me. And I was more concerned about picking up the result with the best team we can play than proving points to Onana, because I feel that you can punish Onana outside the game with other ways instead of taking away that double act of James Garner and Onana that looks so good. And I wanted Onana to play, and then all of a sudden, a couple of seconds later, Paul, me and Jamie are talking about me wanting Onana to play. And I look and he's there. He's starting. He's on the pitch, and I look up and he's in the lineup, and I find out that that's what happened to Garner Gay. So I was really happy that Onana started. But for me, it was massive that Onana did step up, because if he started and had a bad game, people would have probably jumped on him. But I did think that he had a point to prove, and I think he did prove it. Not just him. I think the whole team was good, which we'll talk about. But I definitely do think Onana playing with Garner seems to be something that you've asked for, Paul, and it does work, and I've asked for.
I think it does. I think Emma's right. Maybe divine intervention was was hanging around with Dyche starting 11 at 2:00, and he just did the biz for us. I just think Onana, when we go forward, Onana's got more to offer than Garner Gay has. And well, it worked out the best anyway, didn't it? It absolutely worked out the best.
Well, he's got that where he can, when he's on the ball, he's got that extra composure where he won't lose it. But he's also got that if the player doesn't look that good in front of him, he'll power past him. He did it a couple of times this game. He powered past the player and got the free kick. Yeah. And I feel a lot more confident with him on the ball. And I think the more Onana gets confidence, the more you'll see him never lose the ball in that position, and he'll become a really good player in that position. He did also put some, I don't want it to just be Onana hype because I loved every player, which I'll talk about, but he did also put some cracking tackles. There was one at 2-0 that Onana, he put a tackle in, and it was 2-0, and they had a counter-attack. Yeah. And they was after us, and they had numbers on us, and we was in big trouble. And Onana got back, and he did this sliding tackle where it looked like it was a free kick, and the commentator said he's just won the ball, but Everton was in trouble. If that goes 2-1, it's a different game, and we've seen what can happen when a team comes back in 2-1. So, yeah, I was really happy with that. There's a lot of good things about Onana's game.
In that situation there,
back it up all the time.
Like what you were saying there, that situation comes from Onana being forward as well. We were in trouble because they'd won the ball back, or we hadn't taken our opportunity, but Onana's further up the pitch, so he's actually doing a recovery tackle. If it's Garner Gay, I don't think that situation happens, because I don't think Garner Gay is going to get far enough forward in the first place to try and make something happen. Do you know what I mean? He'll be the one who's further back, and James Garner might have gone further forward. So there's definitely a difference for me between them. What I've got on here, I just wanted to highlight how well DCL did yesterday. I thought his hold-up play, I thought his confidence, he was smiling through it. He was half smiling because he missed a couple of chances and he couldn't believe he hadn't got it on the score sheet. But he had a cracking game. And this doesn't look like anything. This is the ball's been driven over to the right-hand side. It might have been Pickford, actually, or Tarks who'd done it. Calvert-Lewin brings it down. Some of his touches yesterday were fantastic. He did one which, it was second half, actually. I think... I can't remember. It might have been Brad. I can't remember who lofted it right over. about 50, 60 yards. He just brings it down on his right foot on a turn and then shoots. It goes over the bar, but he's just got that bit of class, and he showed it yesterday. In this situation here, he's got the ball right-hand side. He's not really sort of going anywhere. He's got Decore, O'Neill alongside him, but defence had seemed pretty happy there. He hasn't shown sometimes or lately that he's got that little bit of trickery about him. So I don't know whether people remember it. He actually does a little drag back and sort of drags it back, goes forward, and leaves the defender just grasping at him. To be honest, he eventually gets all the way into the area, and did I say O'Neill again? Are you joking?
No, I don't think he's probably just having you on that staying. Yeah.
God,
I got you last time.
But DCL gets all the way to their 6-yard line. Do you know what I mean? And look at the players that we've got in there. We've got 5 players in or around the area. We've got Decore, who's right in there on the goalkeeper. I mean, it actually doesn't come to anything. Keeper gets a touch on it and stuff, but that just shows the actual confidence then, and the things that DCL can do for us to create more and more chances, which he carried on doing.
Yeah, I also think Calvert-Lewin was fantastic, and I've seen a couple of people give him a shout out. For me, it's not just about scoring goals; it's about bringing players into play as a striker. And I thought his hold-up play was fantastic. I remember this moment really well because he was, like you say, he was smiling. And I think when you've got the confidence, you feel like you can do anything. You put the ball to your feet, and it's I'm going to do you. Not like I'm unsure whether I'm going to take you on. Calvert-Lewin was like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to do you. And there was some Bergkamp touches from Calvert-Lewin this game where he just literally, honestly, the touches, the finesse that he did on those touches, he brought it down. Even the commentators was like, what a touch. That would have been a wonder goal. So unlucky because he brought it down on the pivot. So he's bringing it down on the pivot. He touched it. And then he's like half volleyed it just over the crossbar. But it's a goal that you shouldn't score. Shouldn't even be able to control it, but to control it and shoot like Calvert-Lewin did, I think he was fantastic. And I was like, I wanted Beto to start to prove a point, but I was massively behind Calvert-Lewin starting. And I thought Beto's hold-up play could be better than Calvert-Lewin's, but this game I'll put my hands up and I think Calvert-Lewin's hold-up play was really good, and he's back to himself, isn't he? That's the thing. He's back to the old Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, that got the England shout up and that looked like he was going to give Kane competition for England. He looks that player now.
Yeah, he just needs a bit of longevity now, doesn't he? He just needs a little bit of consistency over months rather than you know, the odd week and then being out. So if hopefully, you know, Deitch has done the right thing by him over the last 6 months or whatever, and he's more confident now going forward. So yeah, this is the start for the second goal, if you like. And the reason I've shown this is when we played Sheffield United away, it was set pieces were massive in that game, and I showed something which was pretty much exactly the same as this setup. I don't know whether you've probably all noticed that on every corner now, certainly since say James Garner has been on kicks, we've flooded that 6-yard box. We've been around the keeper an awful lot. Keepers really don't like defending corners against us. Branthwaite always goes in near post. Tarks is in there somewhere, often at the back. But we're just overloading that, and all the space is in the rest of the area. I mean, you can see there, can't you? There's absolutely no one else apart from their guy on the penalty spot. We got one on the edge. Everyone's in that 6-yard box, and this is where it comes from as well. So the ball comes over, keeper gets a flick on. It then goes to the back. Yeah, all the way to the back. Harrison must run about 60 yards to come and get this ball. And he then crosses it in. Their keeper, I don't know what he was sort of doing. Why don't keepers catch the ball as much anymore? I just don't get it. Just punch it all over.
I think this was. I did tweet during the game here, and I think this was a nothing away from Everton, but I think it was a really bad goalkeeper. He looked like he was not comfortable.
No, I didn't like
straight away. Every ball in the box. He looked like he wanted a way out. He looked like he had no intention of coming out and catching the ball. He was just going to hope he was going to get a free kick. which didn't come to him because you could tell he had no intention of getting the ball, and he's come out and what he did here, he should be catching it, Paul, but he's fumbled it out.
Yeah, well, it's come out the once on the left hand side. It's then been crossed in again from the left. He then does the punch where he's knocking one of his own players over, and vice
that's
versa.
The punch I'm on about, yeah.
And I tell you what, the classiest thing about the whole move here is the finish, because there's no touch, it doesn't look uncertain at all. He's literally he's hit it on the half volley, straight over, in off the bar. Looks even better, doesn't it?
It's not. We're asking for players to be more clinical in the shooting. It's not a shot where he's hoping. It's a shot where he knows it's going to go in. Like, he just generally knows. He's 2 steps ahead in his head here. He knows that when this comes out, he's going to put it in that top left-hand corner because he can see the keeper off his line here. And he knows it, Jack Harrison does. And this is what we've been crying out for, players with this sort of shooting ability. And what a finish. Like, when it come out to him, I was like, have a shot, but you don't think he's going to do it. And when he's done it, you're like, I've got to watch that back because I don't even know what just happened. That's what it's like, wasn't it? It was like, wow. And then you watch it back and it just gets better every time you watch it. Yeah, it's not an easy finish, the way he's took it and kept it down.
So difficult. And I mean, I know the keeper's sort of edge of the 6-yard box, but to hit it first time and everything else, yeah, brilliant. That's up there with certainly one of our best goals so far this season anyway. And of the weekend, there was plenty of decent goals yesterday, to be honest, but I think this is obviously going to be our favourite.
I'll drop this on because it goes with what we're saying. We'll try and keep your comments coming on, as many as we can, so if we do miss them. But keep talking to yourselves in the comments as well, because we read you chatting as we go along. We're with you and you're with us. I did read this comment now. Have we got an option to buy Harrison? Yes, we have. Don't know what the price is. Don't know whether we'll be able to meet it. But yeah, I do believe that when they announced that contract, the bubble did say that we have got the option to buy in that contract. But we don't know what the fee is. So that'll be an interesting one. I think it's something that we'll definitely look to do, because Sean Dyche has already shown that he loves him, because he said it after the game that he was carrying a little bit of a groin injury, but he still played him. So I think Sean Dyche doesn't normally play players with a bit of an injury. I think he's got a bit of soft spot for Harrison, but we can see why now. He's kind of saved us here a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's good. And I mean, if anything, it looks as though we've now he's come in, we've filled in that space on the right-hand side, which is why James Garner has been able to come inside and play in the middle. Massive difference.
He needed the game under his belt, though, didn't he? I think. Look at that. Yeah, look at the hairline as well. His haircut looks bob on, doesn't it? It looks like he's some sort of Batman character.
I said that yesterday. You must have gone to barbers in the morning, because that's slick. That is.
His hair. His hair's on point there, and I love him already. And I think a lot of people are falling in love with him already. And that was just a cracking finish. And I think he was a bit. The other game he played last game, when he come on at half time, I think he needed that game under his belt. We've seen this with players. We think they can come in straight away and smash it. They don't. They play him in the under 23s. They have a game. They're not up to scratch. They have another game for Everton, like he did the half a game. And then today, he looked at Jack Harrison. It happened with McNeil as well. It took him a while to get up to speed coming back. But Jack Harrison looks Jack Harrison. And we've got the international break now for his groin injury to calm down. And what a player it looks like we've got there, because he looks like he's going to score a lot more goals than just that one goal with the way that went in.
Yeah. And like Emma says, he's coming back, isn't he? So I was the same. I had him in the pre-match. I said Patterson to start right-hand side and Harrison could come on, but I'm so glad that it went the other way around, to be honest.
This is why I do all my research, Paul, because Emma Davis didn't know why Harrison come off there, and me being a sado, listening to everything Everton you can listen to, gives me that little bit of knowledge why. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. This is DCL's header, which hits the bar. You can't actually see just because of our little logo, but you've got Harrison and Ashley Young right-hand side. And what's been important as well is that we've been getting lots of crosses in the box, but it's not just been one person doing it. We've had people teaming up on the left-hand side, people teaming on the right-hand side as well. So we've we've been able to work at decent areas, and a lot more of our crosses actually coming from the byline as well. They're coming from the far line, so it's not as if we're crossing them from really deep because we can't get past defenders. That's actually seems to be changing now, which is massive for the strikers, because it's much easier to come onto a ball that's being crossed back than it is to try and get a particular good flick or anything, good header on a ball that's coming from deep. So that's been a massive difference. And he actually jumps against two Bournemouth defenders here as well.
It was unlucky, to be fair, and he thought he'd scored. He's very unlucky with this chance. And a lot of people slating. I understand why you've asked Dyche big questions on Dyche. I understand this, but a lot of people saying his tactics ain't that attacking. Well, this isn't counter-attack football where you've got no one up when we're crossing the ball. You put a few clips up now. When we are crossing the ball, we've got at least 1-2 centre midfielders in the box and the striker. So we've got players in the box. So it's not counter-attack, not got no one up. I think the style we're playing is very good. And we've had a lot of chances because we are getting players in the box. But people don't say that because we ain't picking up the results, but we are playing right, and we're getting the rewards of it now, Paul, ain't we? It's great, the XG. I know Dyche mentioned it again in the press, but Dyche did say the XG is good, and people just having a laugh with it, so did we. But at the end of the day, if it is saying, take away the word XG, if it is saying you're having 10 chances a game, good chances, you're doing the right thing. You're doing nothing wrong, because you don't just get those chances. You have to get your tactics right to get those chances. You have to get the players doing the right thing to get those chances, and everything has to click. So everything has been clicking because we've been getting the chances, but the players just haven't had the confidence to put the ball in the back of the net. So all that Dyche can say, Paul, is just keep doing. All he can ask for the next game, isn't it, is just do the same thing but put it in the back of the net this time, because a lot of the games where Sean Dyche has said we've lost, and Sean Dyche says I was happy with that game, but we lost, people are like, how can you say that? But I understand why he says that, because we've played perfect, but we just haven't put the ball in the back of the net. But this time we played perfect, like we did some of the other games, but been more clinical. And that's what happens when you put the ball in the back of the net. It's 3-0.
Yeah. You're not going to tell professional footballer how to kick a ball or how to head at a ball. As a manager, you're going to create scenarios that will come up in the game, and you'll suggest ways to make that become a chance where they are going to kick or header the ball into the net. But skill-wise, that's just something that they are capable of doing. Do you know what I mean? So whether it be a Decore kicking the ball or DCL headering a ball, the manager does everything before that to give them that opportunity, don't he? And that's all that is.
It might have deflected it. I don't know. The Blues. I don't know. Yeah, you're right though, Paul, because this is the borderline of being a manager. We all say we think we know it all, but at the end of the day, if you start asking a player too many questions on his shooting, he'll think too much about shooting, and his shooting will become worse. So you've kind of just got to let him figure things out himself with his shooting, haven't you? Because shooting, you just need a clear mind and confidence. If you can't keep thinking about it, if you're thinking about it too much, that's when you kind of miss-hit it, slice it, over-hit it, and you've got all these things going for your head, and your shots just need to be an impulsive, clear mind. I'm going to smash it. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to get it in the back of the net. Like Harrison shot, basically, just no thinking, boom, in the back of the net. And it's something they've got to do themselves. You're right on that.
Yeah, well, like Jamie's sort of saying as well, it might have hit his shoulder. I think if anything, the defender who's in front of him has put him off balance, because he wasn't, when he headed it, he was almost sort of leaning over to the side anyway, wasn't he? So, but to get in that position with three, McNeil, Decore, and James Garner on the edge of the box there. And if you look to the right as well, Onana's there. So we've almost just got our front five, if you like, inside that last 18 yards of the pitch. So it was good to see. It was good to see anyway.
There's a lot of players in the box, like you say. Go on.
Yeah. And the thing is, from there, Bournemouth got possession, gave it straight back to us. And then we created a chance. This is the one where Onana spins just outside the 6-yard box and hits it on the slide.
I bet
DCL and nearly went in.
I bet you. I'm loving these clips, by the way. This is the cracking. I'm loving the way Toffee Bluecaster's going, and this is thanks to Paul because I started it, but he seems to do it better than me now. He's kind of a lot better than me at doing it. But we're kind of going through the game with the clips, and it gives us a good after-game analysis. But I bet you all. I don't know. Was you Paul? I bet you was all thinking of me when Onana missed this. You was all thinking of it, especially Jamie, because I literally had a fiver on Onana to score, and it would have got me 50 quid if he scored. And I wasn't that bothered about the winning. I was more bothered about Onana scoring. And he hit it right, didn't he? It's just needed to nestle in that bottom right-hand corner. He hit it well. He did hit it well.
He did hit it. It was just off target. That's all. But again, he's in the middle of the area. He's meant to be the one mainly who's sort of sitting back out of him and James Garner. He's right in there, trying to get on the score sheet as well. So absolutely brilliant. I'm just really pleased that first half. And it was mainly the first half. We carried it on generally. Second half went well. We did obviously the main damage in the first. So this takes us on to the second half. And
can I just point out something, Paul, just before we move on to that?
Yeah,
this is just a 10-second thing, right? First of all, this is on a comment. Here we go. Where is it? It was basically, I can't put the comment on because I can't find it. There's a lot of comments coming, which I like. But it was Emma Davis saying that different people are on the crosses and Ashley Young isn't on the corners. And I think it is good that he isn't on the corners. Yeah, you're right. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that I was absolutely fuming with Young getting a card so early again. And I was like, oh, my God, bring him off. Why has he got a card that early? So ridiculous again. Because they've got a fast player down their left-hand side, Bournemouth have, and he looked dangerous. And I'm fuming because I think don't get yourself on a yellow card because the last thing we need is to have 10 men in a big game like this. And the card that Young got was just sloppy and it didn't need doing. And once again, when I'm angry about Young getting a card, Paul, he then goes on to show his professionalism, if that's a word. He then goes to show why he's got so much experience under his belt and just has a wicked game after the yellow card and does nothing wrong. And I can't really grumble with what he played like after the yellow card, but I do want to say, don't get a yellow card that early, Young. You're making it hard for yourself. I'm not putting you down. Just don't get a card that early and don't let him take the crosses because the crosses was fantastic. Go on, Paul, go for it. Second half.
I mean, that first half, Bournemouth have had more possession than us, and they've had more passes than us. But we've just made more of what we had, to be honest. I mean, we've had 12 goal attempts in that. Only 3 of them were on target, actually, and we're 2-0 up at this point. So things are going well. It was a good day. This situation here is the third goal. This is the killer, to be honest. And I don't know how you felt, but I mean, this is only on the hour. In that last half hour, after that, it just seemed like a bit of a training game. It looked as though Bournemouth had given up. And people just sort of walking around the pitch. It just seemed a really odd kind of, not atmosphere, because I think the atmosphere seemed great, but the way that the players were playing it just seemed like a training game after that. And because we were so comfortable in it. But again, we've got Harrison, we've got DCL far side, but Neil's making his run. Onana's just won the ball. And I'll show a still of whether it should or shouldn't have been given as well. But we just look good, don't we? Bournemouth haven't got any answers for it at all. What did you think of when Onana won the ball back? Did you see anything? Or do you think he sort of fell down a bit easy?
I think that on this one, I don't think Onana actually grabs him. I think he leans into Onana. I watched it back a few times because it showed it a few times. And I think he leaned into Onana on the turn, falling over, and wanted the free kick because he's turned wrong and he's got nowhere to go. And I think if Onana pulls him, you can see there, Onana's not pulled him. He's shielding him. He's shielding him. That's all he's doing. And he's kind of fell into Onana wanting a free kick for me. And there's no pull. At first, I thought Onana might have pulled him the way it looks in fast motion. But when they showed it again, I generally do. It's not something that goes for us, to be fair. I expected it to be brought back and not given. But no, I don't think it's a free kick. What do you think? What do you think in the comments as well, people?
When I first watched it, I thought, "Oh, we've got away with one there," and then without seeing the replay of McNeil going in, I thought, "Oh, that's offside." And then I thought, "All right, glad that we've got the goal, but it's definitely going to be given out because we're not this fortunate." If there's a chance of a foul and there's a chance of an offside, we're bound to get screwed over. Maybe it's because we're playing Bournemouth and no one in the top half. But looking at it again, I'm with you. I think he's lent into him a little bit. Yeah, I think he's fallen into him a little bit. And
The Blues
on many other occasions, the referee just would have given a foul against us. It was Pawson as well, wasn't it? Who was referee for us yesterday, and
Smiley.
him being, oh God, yeah.
I call him Smiley because he smiles at everyone. He looks like the most harmless person in the world. So I call him Smiley.
But no, he's not been the best for us in the past. So I'm glad that we actually got the rub of the green a few times in that second half, especially with the goal.
No,
James
the referee did seem to go for us.
Well.
I think our atmosphere as well. The atmosphere was good because we was playing well and we looked like we was going to win it. And we got the goal nice and early for us anyway, not super early, but nice and early. I think the atmosphere was really good. And I think that sometimes intimidates the referees to go with us. And that's what you should do. That's why I always say the atmosphere needs to be amazing because there's a lot of things that can go your way. The players can boost up and the referee can be behind you. And he looked like he was okay for us today for once.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a check, didn't they, on Ashley Young for handball or something, but ages later as well. So
yeah, it was after the Liverpool thing. You could tell it was like in response to that they didn't want to let it play on and checked it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that.
I think VAR didn't want to do anything to any Merseyside teams this weekend. I don't know what the other sort of results are at the moment. We'll see. Brilliant again. Harrison coming in the far post. His header was spot on, but defenders blocked it, and then Decore, he's absolutely hammered that. I sat up nicely just to finish the day. Just to finish the day. And you know what I always love as well on stills of anyone about to put a ball in the net is just to look at everyone in the crowd. So your guy in the black t-shirt with writing on it. Classic.
I know, look at him with his head there in the black t-shirt and the other one.
Classic hands on the head.
That's all that. That's their reaction after the save, after the Harrison header. They're all thinking that we've not scored, but they don't know that Dukes is like a shark in water sniffing blood around these sort of moments at the minute. And he's, do you know what? I know this is a big, obviously Decore's message saying Eliana can meet him, so that's probably getting me extra hype about him. But I just want to say, Paul, when I watched Decore under some other managers, he was so low in confidence. His passes were slow backwards and he never moved forwards. Yeah. There was a patch under Benitez where he played him my way, he looked good, but under a lot of managers, Decore was just not himself. And everyone used to say he played the ball backwards, he couldn't play the ball forwards, and he had no attacking ability. And since Dyche has come in, he's back to himself and he's playing his best football. And he runs everywhere. He's fast, Like, he's not a fast player, but he's always running a high speed. So he's everywhere. And he presses so many players to get us the ball back. And his passing just lately, when I've watched him with Onana and Garner, he moves it fast, doesn't he? He's got intention to get us forward and get a goal. He really does ping it about a lot faster than what he used to. And he's a player that I think has improved loads. He's one that don't get a shout out that much. But you've got to remember, this is a player that he wasn't even in the team. And he looks pivotal now. In that last season, Paul, when he got sent off with that Harry Kane incident, we all knew we wanted him. Like, we'd be in trouble with Decore not playing. That's how good he's playing now. And I didn't even have him in the team because I said Danjuma, but I wanted him in the team. I did say I want Decore in the team, but I don't know whether to play Danjuma or Decore. But after this game, I now see how influentially he is, Paul, because I did say to you on the channel last time, didn't I? I said to you, he gets back and he gets forward and he's a goal threat behind the striker. And he'll miss one, but he'll score one. That's what he's like, isn't it? He'll miss one, but he'll score one. Yeah. And he does score one.
And I think there's massive shout for there being competition. You know what I mean? You've got Danjuma on the bench. That lad is sniffing to get on. And I don't blame him. I feel sorry for him that he's maybe not started as many games. But if the lads on the pitch are actually, if they're digging in, they've got to play for their place. You know, if they don't put a shift in, if they don't do what they're being told to do and expected to do, then they're going to start on the bench and someone else is going to get their chance. And then that person who comes in generally doesn't give up that opportunity easily, because Dyche doesn't change an awful lot. Like you say, he's got some of his own favourites now. You can see Harrison being a first name on the team sheet, along with Tarks and Branthwaite and Pickford. You know, everyone else.
As long as it's good competition, and the people on the bench ain't being mardy and they just want to work as a squad to get the results, and all they care about is doing the best for the team, then it's good competition, and that's what we need. Because players will get injured. We will get Harrison injured, and Danjuma will come in. He's got to make sure he's ready. This is true. What do you think on that one? I feel like Dukes really respects the badge. I do feel like he works hard.
I don't. There's no one yet who's popped up in that group saying or acting in any way which is disrespecting the manager, is moaning about their situation, whether they're on the pitch or not, or how we're playing. It'll be interesting to see how long we can keep that kind of attitude going for. Hopefully, a long time. These were just the final stats from the whole match. As you can see, Bournemouth had plenty of the ball, but they just didn't do anything with it. I think they had a couple of shots from Solanke. Pickford made a save from a header. Didn't have a massive amount to do, to be honest. Pretty redundant. You know, we were talking in the pre-match. We wanted to be saying about Pickford, and we don't want him to be busy all the time, and he wasn't. So that was really good. I mean, look at that. Again, 24. We had 23 attempts against Luton. They had 2, and we lost 2-1. So 24 goal attempts, 8 shots on goal, 8 corner kicks as well, which I felt as though we were dangerous. Was there a corner kick? I can't remember a corner kick yesterday where the keeper just got it floated into his hands. I don't remember the keeper catching any of the corner kicks. We were pretty much dangerous.
Yeah, the corners were better.
Yeah,
the corners were better. I don't think I was. Yeah, Branthwaite won in front post, which you're showing on one of your clips, and Branthwaite was looking to flick it back, and then you've got loads of players at the back post looking to put it back across the box if it goes back post. One thing I will say though that I did notice, because we won't always be too positive, we are got to keep a head switched. I don't know if you've seen it, Paul, but there was a moment where Bournemouth had a corner. And we did the same thing as last game. It was an axe. It was exactly the same as last game. Bournemouth was attacking. We had a black line all the way across, and Miko had all they did is they flooded Solanke and all the big players on Mikolenko, and they should have scored. Bournemouth should have scored, and it was exactly the same as the Luton game. Miko, what they're doing is because the guy on TV said. They've done the research. Bournemouth have done the research here because they literally know what Everton are going to do, and that Mikolenko is going to be the last man. And they hit it long on to Mikolenko, and they put all the big players on Mikolenko. But for some reason, I don't know why, our big players don't go on that back post to help Mikolenko. And I just hope it's something that gets addressed, because that was at 2-0, and that could have been it might have even been at 1-0. It was a big moment for Bournemouth that Bournemouth missed, and it's the same thing, Paul, that we talked about, that we said wanted correcting. And I know the reporter that we speak to, she asked Dyche the question about set pieces, like, are you? Dyche said we're always good on set pieces, so I'm not worried about that. But one thing I want to say, Dyche, is if you should have conceded from that again, so you do not need to address it. Did you see what I was on about as well? It's just frustrating.
No,
exactly the same.
I thought exactly the same thing. And this time though, Bournemouth didn't. The guy who actually got the shot didn't wait until the last moment to run into the line. He didn't run from deep or anything. He was literally just stood on the far line. So was it Morris who scored their goal for Luton when they did it? Morris, I think it was Morris. He came from
Yeah, it was
about
back post, Morris on
yeah,
Mikalenko. Yeah.
came about from 30 yards away just before the kick was about to be taken. So no one was picking him up from that point. But that time around, was it Billing or Solanke? I can't remember which one. They were stood
It
there.
was
They
one of
didn't
the big
sort of
guys, I know, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't run into the line. So I hope that's something that we pick out for next time to make sure that doesn't happen, because we don't want that happening in our next game, do we?
No, because if you're going to set up like that every time and you're not going to change it after you've just conceded by setting up like that and not be on the ball, that we can be hurt by not helping Mikalenko out. To do the exact, if that would have gone in, I would have been fuming, and it should have gone in. So I think we've got away with one. And the people in the comments now, the Blues and the West Egg, they all said they've seen it as well. So definitely think it's something that we've got to address. That if like Dyche said, it was a good performance. It wasn't the perfect performance. So we do need to make sure we iron out a few things that went wrong to become perfect, because sometimes we won't get away with it. Nothing wrong to say the bad things. You have to say the good and the bad. We was fantastic, but if we're going to be more fantastic, we've got to make sure we don't do the same things that we've done when things have gone bad, in my opinion.
I've just put on just asking what people think really about anything else in that. It's just so nice in it to have the game. I tell you what, I had a lovely day yesterday. After watching us win, I went to an Oktoberfest thing with a couple of mates of mine. And it was just, everything was just nice. Whole emotion just chilled. It was just really good. And it makes your week, to be honest. This week's going to be much easier. Much easier.
I went my partner put 3 teams on, and Everton was one of the teams with Man U that made a bet come in. So she won £100. So I literally, Everton won. I went on with Eliana after the channel, and I said to my partner, do you want to go? And Chinese, you can eat in the Chinese. There's this new one that's open. I says, do you want to go? We went out, Chinese, Etin, nice night. Everton had won. We both said to each other, oh, it feels good, this does. Everton have done us proud today. And I went on Twitter. It's Happy Gilmore on Twitter. Every Everton fan is happy. It's so amazing, Paul, because the difference, if we lost that game, it would be an eruption. Like, it would be, every game that we've lost would be brought out on the stats. Yeah. Every game that's gone wrong, every chance that's been missed, everything bad that you can talk about would get talked about the moment Everton lost that game. But instead, we win the game and it all changes. It's like the difference between the two, and we won. And now everyone's thinking, I said it on the channel, Paul, because I always try and get people positive. People don't want to hear positive things when you've lost your last game, but that's what's going to move you forward. And I said that if we win this game, Paul, I said, we've won 3 out of 4. Like I just said in the interview after the game, we've won 3 out of 4. Then some people say to me, oh, but what about the games before that? I said, well, we're trying to improve from the games before that. So if we're going to dwell on them, how can you improve? So let's look at the last 3 games, because that's what we are now, 3-4 games. And we've won 3 and 4, which is a good stat, isn't it? Like, it shows you can't really do much. Yeah. I know we lost against Luton, but to win 3 and 4, you're not going downwards there. You're obviously moving forward, and that's what we've got to take from this. And we've got the international break and the derby, and our fancy's in the derby. We'll talk about it when it comes, but I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy, and you're happy. I could see your happiness in your message when you messaged me. Like, I was like, "Do you want to come on straight after the game?" You're like, "No, I'm having drinks. We've won," and I was like, "Yeah, he's happy. I'll leave him happy. I'll leave everyone happy, and I'll just do a little 5-minute stream with Eliana happy on the stream." But yeah, it's nice to see us all smiling and stuff. Enjoy it when you're on top. You have to.
Well, shall I tell you the scores that have happened this afternoon that we know about so far?
You always do. You are like literally a proper sports presenter. You are, mate. You've got your tactical analysis. You've got your scores along the bottom normally. You know what I mean?
Well, I won't type them in, but Brighton have got a 2-2 against Liverpool. Salah scored twice for them just before half-time. That big lad Dunk scored with about 12 minutes to go. So that's 2-2. That's finished. And West Ham Newcastle finished 2-2. West Ham went 1-0 up after 8 minutes with Souček. Isak scored twice. Fantasy League team, get in. And then Kudus Is that the lad that we were going to go for West Ham? He scored 89th minute to make that 2-2 to finish. And at the moment,
he's amazing, Paul. Like he's that kudos. He's I watched him in the World Cup and he was incredible. And he was just too much money for us. I think he was like 40 million. But Kudus is just a different gravy. And West Ham signing Ward-Prowse and Kudus with the Declan Rice money, it wasn't much of a downgrade. That was cracking business. And West Ham look a team this season. They do. But I don't mind them. I haven't got nothing against them. They do.
We wanted really, I suppose, the teams I feel that we're looking at are all the teams who are below us. You do as an Everton fan. So Wolves got a 1-1 today. That Hwang Hee-chan. I tell you what, fantasy league team, if you can't afford much, but you want someone to score, that Hwang Hee-chan seems to be. How
are you doing in your fantasy football?
Well, I was top for a while, and then I had a bad week because I forgot to get it in on time. So I'm battling back.
Oh.
So I've got Isak and Haaland up front. So and I brought in who did I bring in as well? No, can't remember. But I had Tarks in there.
You're a bit like
I had Tarks and Pickford in there, so they got many points yesterday.
You're a bit like Onana at the minute. Then you are a bit of a naughty boy, late for your lineup and trying to prove yourself now, trying to get back on track. Late for your lineup, like Onana, late for training.
Shocking.
Yeah, so
awful behaviour. Awful.
We'll let people go then. That was a good little session. We're all happy. We've got international break. Jamie did say he is actually going to do the Greece song with you. I was just going to leave it be and let him not do it if he didn't want to. But he said, because I said to him, Jamie, we'll have you on the international break. And he was like, we've still got to do the Greece song. So we will do it. He's a man of his word, bless him. So we've got the Greece song, the international break. And we'll do a quiz, Paul, because I know you like your quizzes. Jamie likes them and stuff.
We haven't done it for a while. We'll get a good quiz on.
Yeah,
we'll get a good quiz.
We'll do our bit as a channel to keep you lot entertained.
Something or everything. Yeah, we'll sort something.
We'll do something. Right, we'll let you all go. Thanks for coming on, everyone. We won. We're 3-4, and we're still in the Carabola Cup. We're going to win that still. I'm back to winning that now. We're going to knock Burnley out and win the cup. Here we go. Drop the banner. I've got compliments that people like the banner, which took me ages, so I appreciate that. I'll drop the banner. XG, banner, baby. XG. XG with a happy ending, baby. I do the G because the curly part, you know what I mean? XG. It probably isn't that good.
We'll have to work on that.
Badge before we go.
We'll have to work on the G. Any ideas?
1-1 Puma. Naughty. Oh, sexy. Lovely kit. There you go. Oh, I'm so lucky that you are my friend with the way I am, Paul. Here we go. Drop the banner.
See you, everyone.
Oh, I can't drop the banner, Paul, because it's got the numbers on. So I won't drop the banner. I'll drop it on. Just take the numbers. Just take the countdown and appreciate it.